in the year since he's been at Florida State?
Yeah, man, he's comfortable. You know, he was able to get a lot of reps. So when you see his confidence going because it's comfort, you know, his comfort level with the offense and things like that, and he's explosive. We knew he was explosive, but now you kind of seen him play with a lot more confidence because he's knowing what to do. And he had a lot of explosive runs, man. He broke some tackles. He did a good job. And I'm proud to see how far he's coming. And I think he has a chance to be special.
The Irish NFL from Warchant.
Hey, Coach. Without having Jordan out there participating, how did you feel like the other quarterbacks kind of managed things and ran the show?
Yeah, we didn't hold anything back. And they had the whole shebang out there. They had to operate. You know, there were some times where we got to clean up some things, but I thought for the most part they managed well. Handled all of the things that we were kind of putting on their plate. It was a lot. You know, we didn't hold back a lot. So I was glad to see that they were able to kind of stay poised. And with Broad going live, you know, he went live today. So, you know, he had flying bullets at him and he handled it, you know, way better than I expected him to, man, because he's a high energy, you know, and I saw him calm once he got back there and really executed at a good level. So I can't wait to see his improvement. You know, with the scrimmage one, you always start with their foundation. Now I get to see, you know, now what? You know, now that's where we are. Now what? And I can't wait to see how far he goes with it.
Kurt Weiler from Osceola.
Coach Norvell talked pretty early on, talking to us about the defensive line, the impact they had today. I guess I know you were without a few guys, held a few guys out on the offensive line. How did you kind of mix things up for them, and how did you think they handled that adversity?
Yeah, they came out, you know, strong. You know, we had trouble running between tackles early. So that's how you go back and say Rodney Hill had a good day. He bounced some runs and made some plays, which helped a bunch in the run game. And then in the second half, you wear him down a little bit. That run game started hitting a little bit better. I just think initially we got to do a better job of coming out and establishing the run in an obvious situation. You know, a couple of third and shorts, fourth and shorts, and things like that. When everybody in the stadium is running the ball, we got to be able to execute it at a high level there and understand the expectation. Then again, I dueled some guys, you know, some older guys. I played them in a couple of different positions. So, you know, that's always, you know, a part of it. But, yeah, that was definitely one thing we got to improve on early, is establishing the run early in these scrimmages.
This will be Chris Needy from Noles 2.7.
Continuing with the O-line talk, how difficult is it for guys 5-6 days into being together, especially with 3 transfers inserted, to kind of work together, gel together well, and then play together well in a scrimmage setting?
Yeah, that's not, you know, in the spring, continuity is always a big thing with O-line, but that's not the focus in the spring. You know, because you never have like a set of 5 that's going out there all the time. You know, there's a different guy in there. It might be, hey, you go with the 1s this time, you go with the 2s, you go with the 3s. So it's more creating a matchup, some competition, like going against the 1 D line, 2 D line, 3 D line is different. So you might put a guy there that's doing really well against the 3 D line. It's all right, let me see what you're going to do versus the 2 D line. Let me see what you're going to do versus the 1s and how that correlates. So that's continuity is not the focus at the moment. It's more of the improvement and evaluation. But I think that overall, the things we're asking them to do, they're giving a great attempt to do it, you know. And that's what's fun part about practice is we're not trying to, you know, find the best situation. We're just trying to see how you handle the situation that you're in at the moment, which is good and, you know, build that improvement.
So we Matt Marshall from the Orlando Sentinel.
Hey, Alex, you got a couple pieces of new players on the tight end position. How did you see that group kind of perform, and how do you see those guys maybe taking on bigger roles in the offense?
Yeah, I mean, we have them out there a lot, you know, and I think, you know, the good thing about it is their flexibility. You got guys that can attach, play wide, and play in the backfield, you know, and then you got a guy that, you know, ran the ball a lot of times against really good competition. So you have guys that have done a lot of things and can give us a lot of expansion where you can kind of manipulate the personnel group, which is fun to do. So I'm excited to see, you know, their versatility is what makes them different. You know, whether it be catching, running, still being physical at the point of attack, being attached and still go vertical. So those things are what I'm excited to see from that group.
Go back to Brandon.
Yeah, when we talked to Casey Roddick the other day, he talked about just kind of transitioning to learning a little bit of center. Obviously, he's going to also work at guard too, he said. But just his level of maturity, how has he handled what you guys have placed on his plate so far?
Casey's a grown man, and he knows he's coming in with a purpose. You know, he understands what he wants to do in his last go-around for him. So his focus is learning both positions because he wants to be able to help the line where when you have those injuries or things go down or things don't go your way, he's able to play most positions to be able to still keep the best five out there. And he understands that for the longevity because of what he wants to accomplish in the future. So it's always good when you have a guy like that because you don't have to explain it. He knows, like, all right, I know why you're doing this. So, I love it. Just, give me opportunities to better learn and put me in some stressful situations. And he wants that uncomfortableness. Most guys, when they come in, they can't wait to show themselves. They just put me where I'm comfortable and let me operate. So I hear good things about me. He's like, nah, I'm good. I know I can do this. So let me try to get some of this in. I know I can do this. So let me try to do some of this in. So I love his attitude of coming in and wanting to be able to make himself uncomfortable to get better.
Back to Kurt.
I know Jordan was watching from the sidelines today, kind of offering feedback, advice to the younger quarterbacks. Is there a value for a guy like him to have that experience, kind of the different perspective maybe? And just how have you seen him in general grow as a leader? I know that's not the most comfortable area for him.
Jordan came out there fully dressed like he was about to roll. To be honest with you, his mentality with the preparation, everything was the same. He just didn't run out there. So he was in it right next to me, asking what the call was and, asking for guys and, and giving some suggestions. So he's in it, man. Jordan knows it. He knows his offense. So as he's watching, he knows the mistakes that's happening. He's calling them out just like the coach would. So, he's been in it. He knows it. So it's fun to have him in those situations because, he's rooting on his teammates as well. So it was fun.
Back to the Ira.
I got a little two-parter for you. The first thing is watching the other day, Thursday at practice, it looked like, Julian and a lot of those guys in that second year group seem like they've really come a long way. I wonder if you could talk about them. And then also for the whole offensive line, how great of an opportunity is it for them to go against this defensive front that they're seeing every day?
Yeah, that's been the constant at Florida State. When I got back here in 2020, it was going against the defensive front, 21 in the defensive front. That's never going to change here at Florida State because of the consistency of that position. So it's always good because competition always brings the best out of you. But what's even better is the relationships that they have with them, give them their deficiencies. I walk in and, Julian is talking to Patrick Payton and they're going through what moves they do and why they do this and why you took that set. And, so they're growing and getting each other better. Like, whenever you talk about improvement, like the D-line doesn't improve unless we can block them. We don't improve unless we can't block them. So it's a totality of both groups pushing each other to get better, and keep striving and learn each other tendencies. Like, I know when you pull them. Hey, I know when you're going inside. And when you jetting on that blitz, I know your eyes are looking out. And that's the fun part of it. And that's what I'm seeing from that group, man. And from Julian, he's doing a really good job of kind of getting that cerebral point. Julian loves effort. He loves running into stuff hard. He likes going out there, taking a bunch of reps. He has to hone in on the other small pieces of the game, seeing the border pressure and understanding what technique to use, 3 techniques tight, 3 techniques wide. He's starting to kind of dial into those kind of things and really grow from that. Sapp's playing a bunch of center. So developing him, who we primarily play guard. So now he's learning that position, which comes with a lot. Controlling both sides. So I'm liking seeing him. Atkins is rolling there with 2s, 3s at both guards. So, those young guys, it's exciting to see, how far they come.
Yeah, Mandy from Warchant.
Hey, Coach, you look fine. So I'm not going to ask you how you're doing. You look great.
I appreciate that. I've been on my non-carbs game. You know what I'm saying?
There we go. I know you don't bring these guys to Florida State unless you think they can play for you. And there's no rush, obviously, to define roles. But as a coach, I don't know if the scrimmage is one of those kind of check-in points with you and the guys that work with you where you kind of have a feel for where you want to put guys. But what do you want to see? What things need to happen for you to start to develop a clearer picture of where you want to put a lot of these pieces that you now have into specific sort of roles?
Yeah, the first scrimmage is always the eye opener because every practice we've had has been in the practice facility. Now that's the first time a lot of them have been on the field inside the building. So now, the big thing we pushed was, everything you do before you hit the stadium is in preparation for what you do in the stadium. They had 90 amazing catches in practice on Thursday. If you don't do that on Saturday, you didn't prepare to do it when those opportunities come. So the big thing is the build-up of how you're going to operate when you're out there by yourself. And that's what the evaluation piece is. Now, this is the first time a lot of them are going to get a game-graded scrimmage, where it's like a game. So we're going to break this down just like we break down a game. We're going to giving grades. We're going to tell you where you are. And the biggest thing when you know what you got is the response that you go from here forward. Then once you see that is when you can kind of start, all right, you see, he fixed this, that this was a problem. He had his hands wide. He got a bunch of holding calls. His eyes were in the wrong spot. He got fatigued. They couldn't get in their stance. And then once they respond and correct those things, now their confidence grows. They know what we want. Now you can start saying, I can give you a little bit more to grow once you show me you can improve from your baseline. If that, I hope that answers your question a little bit, more. That's the focus of where they're going to move forward before we start tinkering with doing other things.
Last one, we'll go back to Ira.
Coach Norvell mentioned that you guys had some penalties today. Are those, do you think sometimes anxiety or just being on that stage, or were there fundamental things that they just need to clean up?
Yeah, well, anytime, you get the refs out there for the first time, like that, but we have refs in practice, they call penalties in practice too. So it's more of the technique of it. And you got guys playing with great effort, running their feet, but their hands might be too wide. You got a guy on the perimeter that's, straining and doing it. And then he gets thrown, but he held on too long and doesn't understand the timing of when to let go. You got, with D-line with hands to the face because we're rushing past it, but then they can't go to the quarterback. So it's a lot of it. I want to say it's more technique and focus in the moment of those little bitty detailed things. I thought the effort was good, but you got to clean up that right hand, got to be tight. That elbow got to be in. Running back, if you bounce this and we're not intending on you bounce this, we don't know that, so he doesn't know until it's too late to let go. And all of those things, we want to clean up. I was the most disappointing penalties are the pre-snap penalties, the ones where you get illegal procedures or false starts or errant snaps and things like that. Those are the ones that really get you and get under your skin. The post ones is cleanups. Like, hey, can't do that. You can't push off at the top of the route. They can't, those are the things you clean up in it. But the pre-snap penalties is what we want to focus on. And I think we had, I don't know exactly how many we had, but we got a lot of those alignment issues, things like that we got to clean up.
Good.
Thank y'all.
Recording stopped.